Hi, lovely people. So I am so committed to this. So here's the thing. Is my mic on? I think my mic is on. So I am at an undisclosed location, but I still had work to do, okay? Had to get this content out and I had to record this video for you all. So this is my February challenge where I am not editing videos. I am just recording and uploading and doing a little cute thumbnail and then I'm releasing. So that is what I'm doing. I am also in a place where I am trying to figure out, I just realized I need my iPad for this. So I'm in a place where there is a fire going on. You can probably see it in my reflection. So I wanted to see how this looked like on camera, trying to get better recording outside and the elements and all the screwy stuff happening. The wind is blowing crazy. You can kind of see where I'm at in the background, but I'm not revealing any of my secrets, but I'm committed to this. So this is my challenge. So let me see my challenge. I don't even know what I'm talking about. It's actually freezing. So if you can't tell, it's cold, but I wanted to be outside. So I'm outside. I'm sitting down. I'm doing something different. So let's see what our options are. So I'm very excited to see these options. So by this point, the Super Bowl has not happened yet. It is Super Bowl day. And so I'm very curious to see what's going to come up on my thing. I'm also realizing that there's music playing in the background. So I don't know if the music is actually going to come through on this recording, but if the music is coming through on this recording, I'm going to have a different issue and I need to figure out the sound. Anyway, so let me see what my options are to kind of figure out what I want to talk about. Am I connected to Wi-Fi? My Wi-Fi is acting sketchy. So the other thing is how is everyone doing? This is before the Super Bowl, and I really hope the Eagles figure out a way to win this. And if you're watching this video, this will be after the Super Bowl. So I really hope the Steelers figured out a way to win. The Steelers. I really hope the Eagles figured out a way to win the Super Bowl. Anyways, I am rambling. So let's see. I'm now concerned about the music in the background. So I really hope that you can't hear the music in the background. So anyways, I am very fascinated with Syracuse. So now I have Syracuse, Florida Gators, Texas. This is so interesting. My options are so interesting. Like, I don't understand these options. I don't understand what you all are researching and going through. So this is interesting. I'm going to do the Florida Gators. So the reason why I'm going to do the Florida Gators is because Texas plays Florida, and I don't really know a lot about Florida, but I kind of know a lot about Florida. So I'm actually kind of serious. So I will be honest and say that I am concerned about Florida on Texas's schedule because it is in October where we have our away game. So there's that. DJ Lagway, obviously year 2. So I'm very curious to see how year 2 will go for him. And Billy Napier, like the coach was on the hot seat and he basically clawed his way into keeping his job. So I'm interested about that. The other thing I'm kind of interested in too, when it comes to Florida, is I know they have a really tough schedule. So the SEC just kind of flipped everything this year. So if you had a hard schedule this year, you're going to also have a hard schedule next year. It's just the home and away games have changed. So I'm very curious to see like what their schedule looks like, because they could potentially have like a really hard schedule. And if their team is like good or even bad, their schedule's still tough. So the Florida Gators interest me. I think the couple of things that I'm going to be looking at, like, obviously, when the season starts, I'll get back into doing like my full-fledged videos and stuff like that. But from what I know of Florida right now, I know that they have obviously DJ Lagway. I believe they have a good running back. I know that they've recruited well. That's the other thing. And not only did they recruit well in their freshman class, I know that they recruited well out of the transfer portal. So I think Florida might be building something that's like kind of cool because they've done a really great job recruiting. So I'm very curious to see what Florida looks like as a team. So they have the quarterback, which is obvious, and then they have recruited well in the portal. And I thought they were like decent last year. Like they weren't great, but they were decent. And you can build on decent, right? Like you can go from being like decent to good or whatever. So there's airplanes and a lot of stuff happening. So there's that. I don't know. I think I said there was a fire. So I'll show you the fire here in a minute. But Florida. Sorry, I got sidetracked. I heard the plane got sidetracked. So Florida. They were decent last year, weren't great. I think DJ Lagway with a whole year of like being the starter and being prepared, that's going to be interesting. Billy Napier, I believe that his team started playing for him last year, and I believe that that is a markings of a really good coach. And so I'm very curious to see how Florida shows up this next year. And the wind is blowing and it's freezing. And so there's that. I'm also curious to see what their defense looks like. And I actually want to see if they are just better team. Like if they are just a better team than they were last year, like I'm interested. They beat Ole Miss last year. Now, granted, Ole Miss fumbled the bag. Ole Miss should have beat Florida last year, but they didn't because I think that who's the Ole Miss coach? The Ole Miss coach, Lane Kiffin, thought that he was better than Florida, and so like he didn't kick field goals he should have kicked. He didn't do certain things. I felt like in that game he was too aggressive in my opinion. Like sometimes I think these coaches get so aggressive because they know their team is supposed to be better, so they think their team is better. But the reality is, just because you think your team is better doesn't mean your team is better on that day. And I just don't think these coaches sometimes read their teams right, and so there's that. But yeah, I think I'm very fascinated to see what Florida does this year. I'm very fascinated to see if Florida gets better. I'm fascinated to see how DJ Lagway plays this year. I'm fascinated to see what their offensive line looks like this year, because I think out of all the teams in the SEC that Texas plays, and I said this in my Texas video, I think that Florida has the most chance of giving them a better game than they had the previous year. So yes, if you look at the Florida score, you would think that Texas blew them out of the water and it was never close. And that is kind of true in a lot of ways. But Florida was able to run the ball against Texas, and that's a thing. And I don't know if Texas run defense next year is going to be as good as it was this year. So there's that. There's a person. So sorry, I'm now distracted. And then the other thing is their running backs. I don't know if Florida is losing their running backs or if their running backs are staying. So the Florida Gators are actually a very interesting college football team in my opinion. The Florida Gators is one of those teams that I'm not sure what I think. And so because I'm not sure what I think, it makes them very, 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 very interesting. And so I'm curious to see how they fare, how they go, how they play, what they look like, and things like that. And so see, I told you there was a person. Like sometimes I feel like I say stuff and people are like, she's making it up, or like because you can't see them, you can just like see my behavior change, and so it's weird. And I actually kind of like this, like recording outside and recording in a different space. And I haven't actually shown you like what the fire looks like, but so I'm just like sitting out here by this fire and like enjoying the fire. I have my little cute tripod because you know I travel ready. I stay ready so I don't have to get ready. But yeah, so anyway, so that's my thing about the Florida Gators. So if I was assessing the Florida Gators team right now, and I know nothing, by the way, I know nothing. I just know that there was a lot of recruits that they were trying to take from Texas's class. I know on recruiting early signing day, they were able to flip some recruits and get them to commit to them. And I know that they've recruited really well out of that transfer portal. And I believe when a team has their quarterback and they can build around their quarterback and also has a coach and can build around their coach, like those are teams that I look out for. So I would be very curious to know what Florida's offensive line is going to look like next year, obviously the defensive line. So I'd be very curious to know like what their trenches is going to look like. I believe their offense is going to be legit. So my only big issue with Florida might be their trenches, just because I'm not sure. So I don't know. Somebody's going to watch this video and they're going to be like, here's all the things you should know about Florida. One thing I want you to know is I am recording these videos and I am not researching. So yes, I could if I was researching, we all know this video would be well thought out, well, very methodical, all the facts, all the details, the running game, their time of possession, right? That's who I am. But I'm not doing any research. So all I know of Florida is what I have seen of them, what I know about, like, obviously Billy Napier, what I know about last year. I think they've made it to a bowl game. Yes, they made it to a bowl game. So I think they were probably 7-6 or something like that when everybody thought they were going to be awful. They thought they were going to fire their coach. Nobody knew what DJ Lagway was going to do. But come to find out, DJ Lagway is pretty decent. This offense, it looks pretty decent. The defense has the potential for looking pretty decent. They do have a really tough schedule. I just don't really know where they fared after like Texas played them last year, because it's kind of like out of sight, out of mind. So I don't really know. So if you were listening to this and you're somebody that is the reason why I am talking about the Florida Gators, you know what's terrible? I went through my whole list and I usually identify certain things, but I saw the Florida Gators and that popped out to me. And so I just stuck with them. So that's what I'm talking about today. So if you are listening to this and you know more about the Gators, Or if you're a Florida fan and you stumbled across my channel because you are looking for Texas information and you're watching this and you're actually a Florida fan, let me know about the Florida Gators. Like, tell me some things I should know about when I'm researching Florida, thinking about Florida. What are you all doing really well? Like, as a Florida fan, what are you worried about? Are you worried about offense, defense? I don't think you're worried about quarterback. Are you worried about your offensive line? Are you worried about your defensive line? Do y'all have good linebackers? Like, I think last year you guys had really good corners. So I'm very curious to know, like, if you were a Florida fan, like, what are you thinking about? Like, what is something that you were thinking about that you were like, as a Florida fan, I am going to be worried about this? That would be great. So if that is you, let me know in the comment section below. So I will end this video. I don't know what else I can say about Florida because I don't really know much about them. So, but it was kind of cool seeing a different team in my analytics, because I usually see the same teams over and over and over. So I've gotten to Syracuse, I've gotten to Michigan, obviously Ohio State fans. Hi, Ohio State fans, welcome. I now have a Florida. What other team is going to pop up? This is kind of cool. So anyways, thank you for following along with me. If you don't know what I'm doing, this is my February challenge where I am hitting record and recording a video the day before it releases about whatever's in my analytics, unedited, just talking about it, no preparation, just giving my thoughts and opinions about what I think about the topic. So this is my Florida Gators one. So is there a Florida Gators thing? I don't know. Anyways, thank you for watching this video. I'll see you in my next video. Oh, if you haven't already, don't forget to like, comment, all the things. Thank you for being here.